back to the post game. Here's week 3 recap for college football. What an exciting weekend filled of ups and downs for a lot of these teams. But starting off with, man, we're going to talk about some of the more impactful games of the weekend. And I know some of these games you're like, oh, why are you going to talk about Alabama and Wisconsin? I think it's more the intangibles and the actual team that I want to talk about more than the scoreline, more than the situation. First off, we are going to talk about so we're going to talk about all these games. We're going to also talk about the AP poll. They are down there as well. But starting off with Alabama versus Wisconsin. What an outstanding game this was from this Alabama team. Ty Simpson looked like he was in control, and he looked the most comfortable that I have seen him look all season long. 24 for 29, 382 yards, 4 passing touchdowns. He kept it very clean, very accurate, very dominant. That's what Ty Simpson was this weekend. And don't even talk about Ryan Williams, what he did. 5 receptions, 165 yards, 2 touchdowns. They started the second half with him on a touchdown for 75 yards. That's how the second half started. But, absolutely outstanding from that offense. Outstanding from that defense. Alabama looked like the Alabama of old, and they looked very composed. They looked very controlled. And Alabama fans, how do you feel right now? Do you still feel that Kellen DeBoer should be on his way out, or do you want to just see him do this against SEC teams? That's just the question. That's the conversation you have to start having. But yeah, that's what I thought about that Alabama game. I thought it was outstanding from that team entirely, and they all played really well. Looking ahead, the next game I want to talk about, Clemson versus Georgia Tech. This game, for one, I did project that Georgia Tech would beat Clemson. And let me tell you why. When you look at Clemson and what they have been about all season long, you see a team that has been a shell of themselves. They were down 14 points to Troy at home. They lost to LSU at home. This team looked like they got punched in the mouth, and they just haven't recovered from that. Yes, they came out the second half. They were a lot more composed. They ended the half getting a touchdown. They came out this halftime getting a touchdown, and they kept Georgia Tech to 0 in the third quarter. That's what it was. But they had nothing for Haynes King. Not a single thing. 20 for 28, 211 yards, 25 carries, 103 yards, 1 touchdown. He controlled the narrative of this game. He controlled the narrative of Georgia Tech football. And to me, it's amazing to watch a team not have to really go away from who they are. They play football the right way, meaning they play disciplined, they play effective, they play fast. They play their system, and they don't bend to anybody else's system. With that being said, is it too early to say that Georgia Tech is in command to win the ACC? I mean, is it? I personally don't think so, for one. For two, is it too early to say that Clemson are officially out of the college football playoffs? No, because they still have the chance of being effective in winning the ACC. It has gotten to a point for me when I'm watching the Clemson play, it's just like not good enough. It just looks like Dabo has moved on from the level of intensity that he used to be at. This team just looks like a shell of themselves, and that's what it's going to be for the rest of the season, I think. Next up, Texas A&M, Notre Dame. You have there's a lot there for me when it comes to that Texas A&M versus Notre Dame game, and let me explain to you why. When I see Notre Dame, I see a team who, some say, oh, they can be a top 10 team in college football. Some say that they shouldn't have been anywhere near the top 10 in college football. I say a team that looks the exact same from last year. They have an offense that only relies on Jeremiah Love, and that's it, because they can't pass the football. Their defense isn't good enough. Both of these defenses, I'm going to talk about Texas A&M here in a second, but both of these defenses aren't good enough. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. You have a Notre Dame team that are now 0-2. They are still ranked in the top 25. They're 24 currently. They're 0-2. They're still ranked. And they don't have a conference to really rely on. So they should technically finish the season 10-2. With that being said, their offensive production has to be better. It has to be more effective, and it has to be more complete, because I don't think it is. I just don't think it is. And when we talk about Texas A&M, there's a lot to go home about with Texas A&M. Marcel Reeves is a very good quarterback and can be a very good quarterback. He's young. He still needs to get his accuracy down packed. Those are some of the things that are very important that needs to happen. He was 17 for 37, 360 yards with 2 touchdowns. Okay. Throwing just over 30-something%, almost at 40%. Personally, he got the job done, 360 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's it. But I see a Texas A&M team that has just allowed 40 points to a bad Notre Dame offense. They haven't played great their first 2 games. Personally, I know they won by 20 points, but they haven't played great their first 2 games. They have a lot of growing to do, and I think they can. But this team just is the team that I think is right there for the taking. I don't think Texas A&M, yes, they are ranked in the top 10. I don't think they're a top 10 team, personally. I just don't. But we'll have to wait and see what it looks like. But 41-40 for these 2 teams, defense had a rough and long night. And it has to be better if they want to really be effective in college football and effective in the playoffs. Because we know that the only teams that can win a college football playoff game or championship are the teams with top 3, top 5 defenses. That's just what it is. Next up, Georgia versus Tennessee. Again, defenses didn't come to play. But Tennessee has their quarterback. Joey Aguilar is an absolute dog. And dare I say it, Tennessee probably should have won that game. Joey Aguilar, 24 for 36. Over 66 completion percentage. 370 yards, 4 passing touchdowns on a Georgia team, on a Georgia defense that some say are top 5 in college football. They're ranked 5th right now in college football. I look at this team, and I had Georgia win this game, but with a caveat. I think if Tennessee could win this game, it wouldn't be shocking because I think this Tennessee team are very complete when it comes to offense, defense, special teams. Their defense allowed way too many points. They have to play better football. But against the Oklahomas, against the Ole Miss, against a potential Alabama, against a Texas, I think this Tennessee team could win. I think this Tennessee team could win when you look at those teams like that. Personally, I do. And I think we will see Tennessee knock off some of your favorite teams because of it. They have the quarterback now that could lead them to a national championship. Dare I say it. Georgia. Let's talk about Georgia. Georgia, to me, they are holding on to the Georgia of old. They barely won this game. I think when we see them play Alabama here in a couple of weeks, I think they play Alabama in 2 or 3 weeks. No, they play Alabama next week. When we see them play Alabama next week, after the bye week, the 27th. When we see them play Alabama, that game will be the test of who really runs the SEC. Because I think, dare I say it, Georgia is going to lose against Alabama. Georgia will lose against Alabama because I don't think their defense has enough to compete with the Alabama offense, personally, for one. Because, and I personally don't believe in Gunnar Stockton. I don't think he's a good enough quarterback. Yes, he had a very, very good game with 23 for 31, 300 yards, 2 passing touchdowns, no interceptions, kept it really clean. But I just don't think they have enough. I just don't think he has enough offensively to really dominate that entire game. Moving on. Miami, South Florida. Miami went out there and did their job. Carson Beck is doing his job. Carson Beck has found salvation. He has found a new home in Miami. South Florida, yes, they were ranked. I think they were batting above their weight class. Listen, I know you knocked off 2 ranked opponents, but you weren't one of the best teams in college football. That's just a harsh reality of what it is. But this Miami team, man, offense, defense, special teams, there may not be a team that can stop this team. Carson Beck, 23 for 28, 340 yards, 3 touchdowns, complete and in control. That's what this game was, complete and in control. I know I don't have this team on the list, but I want to talk about them real quick. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to talk about Florida versus LSU. Florida LSU. where to start? DJ Lagway, one of the biggest. Hold on. DJ Lagway, Billy Napier, that Florida team in general was one of the biggest, or one of the biggest, if not the biggest disappointments. You can throw them up there with Clemson. One of the biggest disappointments to the start of the season. DJ Lagway threw 5 interceptions, and I personally did not expect that. I am not going to lie to you. I had Florida winning 8, 9, 10 games this season, and potentially being competitive inside the SEC. Their season is not over, but you've now taken 2 losses to not great teams, or not. I'm not gonna say that. You lost to LSU and you lost to South Florida. You should not have lost to South Florida. That right there ruins any hope for you. Your quarterback is not playing well. DJ Lagway is not playing well. Do you go back to the drawing board? Do you revisit it? Do you look and say, hey, I don't think he's good enough. I don't think he can be our guy. Do you go find someone else who can fill that spot at this point in the season? We're 3 weeks in. Because someone's going to have to start winning you football games, because Florida has the hardest schedule for the rest of the year. The hardest schedule. They start off next week. The rest of their schedule is hard. Next week, they play Miami. They play Miami next week. They play Miami next week, then Texas A&M, then Mississippi State, then Georgia, then Kentucky, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Florida State. I mean, there's a place on this planet where they could lose every game. Florida could lose every single game. There's also a place on this planet where Florida can go 5-7 and miss a bowl game and fire Billy Napier, and we'll see DJ Lagway a 7th round pick. Because let's be real, you got Miami lost, Texas you can shoot it with them. That can go either way, because I don't think Texas are playing great. You have Texas A&M. Again, you can shoot it with them in either way. Mississippi State, 50-50. Georgia, I'm gonna throw you a loss. Kentucky, you can beat that. You can win that game. Ole Miss, it'll set 50-50. Tennessee, loss. Florida State, if they're the Florida State that's ranked number 7th in the country right now, then that's a win, or then that's a loss as well. So right now you're looking at it: Florida State, Tennessee, Georgia, and then A&M potentially. That's 4 more losses. So you can finish the season off 6-6, squeak by with a bowl game, but that's not the Florida expectation. I think we're going to see Billy Napier get fired before the end of the season is over, and that's the harsh reality. And I'm not going to let LSU off the hook. They didn't play a great game. They didn't play a clean game. Their defense got 5 takeaways, and they only scored 20 points on offense. Does that mean Florida's defense is good, or does that mean that offense of LSU was that bad? That interception from Garrett Nesmeyer was horrible. Horrible. Threw it, looked immature, looked like himself for last season. Threw it back across his body. Just didn't look complete at all. Wasn't thinking. Just threw the ball. He didn't have a great game. Just over 70% completion from him. LSU has to play better football if they want to make it far in the college football playoffs, as they're currently ranked number 3rd in the country. Vanderbilt, South Carolina. As a South Carolina Gamecocks fan, it hurts for me to look at this game. It hurt me to watch this game, to just do everything with this. Because South Carolina's offensive coordinator, Mike Shula, is going to lose his job. He is ruining the offense of South Carolina. Ruining Lenore Sellers, ruining everything a part of that team. That was a poor offensive showing from the University of South Carolina yesterday. They scored 0 points after the first quarter. 31 unanswered points. It just doesn't make logical sense to me how this could happen. I think Vanderbilt are a good team. That's no debate whatsoever. I think I think Diego Pavia is very good. I do think he is very good. Yes, Lenore Sellers, I think pretty sure he went out with that concussion injury after that bad hit. But still, not good enough from the University of South Carolina. But I think this Vanderbilt team is really good. I think they could knock off your favorite team. I think we will see them beat some pretty good teams again this season. I mean, they got Georgia State next week, Utah State. That should be 2 wins. And they have Alabama. We saw what they did to Alabama last year. Could they do it again at Alabama this year? Who knows? LSU, Missouri, Texas. Auburn, Kentucky, Tennessee, are they that good to where they can actually start running a gauntlet inside the SEC? I don't know. But I think this Vanderbilt team can finish with 2, 3, 4 losses. That's not a far-fetched plan. That's not a far-fetched idea, and I think that's a success for them. I think that is a success for Vanderbilt if they can finish with that. But this University of South Carolina team has to play better football. Has to. Just doesn't make any sense to me, and Shane Beamer needs to really put some people in check about what happened yesterday. Now let's talk about the AP poll for this week. I already did a video. If you want to go look at the channel, it is already there. Video's already up. But the AP poll from this week is something of interest. Ohio State sits at the number 1 position. Ohio State sits at number 1. Penn State at number 2. LSU number 3. Miami 4. Georgia 5. Let's just sit there and talk about the first 5. Ohio State, sure, stay there. Penn State, stay there. They haven't played anybody yet, but stay there. LSU didn't look great. Didn't look great offensively. You can stay there because your defense got 5 takeaways, but your offense looked horrible. Miami, stay there. They deserve that spot. Georgia, don't think they deserve that spot as well. I'm putting Oregon over them. Yes, Oregon had their little scuffle with Northwestern in the first half. It was a little slow to get going, but not great. And I'm not really talk about Penn State and Drew Adler, 16 for 29, 200 yards, 1 touchdown against Villanova, 1 touchdown. Regardless, Florida State definitely needs to get going faster. They need to play some better. Or no, not Florida State. Sorry, Georgia needs to get going faster, play some better football. Florida State's playing some really good football. Excited to see them play in a couple weeks against some more comp to see if they're really that team that a lot of people think they are, having them ranked at 7. Texas, Arch Manning. Did we fill, or not we, because I didn't, did they fill his head up with too much he is great, and now he is starting to struggle? He didn't look great yesterday. He didn't look great last week. He obviously struggled against Ohio State week 1. That's away. It's Ohio State. We're not going to grade him on that. But he did not look great yesterday or the week before. It took them some time to get going. He missed his reads. First half isn't a great half for him. Illinois, they beat Duke last week. Is number 9 too high? I'll let you be the judge of that. Texas A&M, I think 10 is a little high. I've already talked about why I think that. Oklahoma sits at 11, sure. Iowa State's at Iowa State, Ole Miss at 12 and 13, sure. Alabama 14, sure. But I'm taking Tennessee over Alabama. I would put Tennessee higher than Alabama. Tennessee at 15. Utah, Texas A&M, or no, Texas Tech, 2 of the most underrated teams in college football. Georgia Tech, love seeing them inside of the top 25. They deserve to be there. They will potentially win the ACC this year. Indiana, they're just doing their job and winning football games. Vanderbilt, doing their job winning football games. Michigan, they're sitting there at number 21. Auburn, Mizzou, do you really put them in over some of the other teams in college football? There are some other teams who haven't really lost. And do you really put them in over a team like, I don't know, who's a team that's been on fire? Do you really put them over a team like Houston? Huh? I don't know. Do you not put TCU in there? I think you put TCU in there over a Notre Dame who sits on 2 losses right now. USC are getting the job done. They're sitting there as well at 25. So, I think when you think about it, I think USC can definitely be back inside of that top 20, maybe even top 15 before it's all said and done this year. But I think it's still a little early for a lot of people to decide. But I'm excited, man. College football this year is heating up. We've seen some upsets with the Clemson last week. But yeah, y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments. This is going to be a very long year filled with lots of ups and downs, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited about college football. I'm excited about the place that it's in right now. And the college football playoffs are about, what is that, 9, 10, 11 weeks away, and I'm racing to the first poll to be released. But let me know what y'all think down below in the comments. Been your host, Davion. It's been the post game. Y'all take it easy. Peace.